um, either I'm watching basketball or making video games, or I'm drawing, or just watching stuff on TV. It's
Hey, well, you have a lot to occupy your time with.
Yeah, I surely do, surely do. But yeah, that's just me, the long and short of it. So I was happy to get the opportunity because I wanted to do a men's team, but they already had a team in Syracuse for that. So I kind of gave up, and my friend was like, "Hey, you do know that the ABA has a women's league, right?" And I was like, "I'd never heard anything about WABA or ABA Women's League. I never heard of anything. No one told me or suggested that." So I did some research, and I was like, "Oh, they're doing expansion. I guess we could. I guess I could sit down and go into that." So I sat down and did. And then everybody was asking me, "Well, what name are you going to use?" And I'm like, "Well, to pay homage to our city's history, we're going to do the Syracuse Nationals." So
Okay.
the first thing I did was I went to the Philadelphia 76ers. That's who we became. We were like, "Hey, can I sit down and use the name, but I won't say we're associated with you in any way." And then after a little bit of thing on the text and talking to their somebody from their legal and merchandising department, they were like, "As long as you don't say you're associated with us, we're cool." So I was like, "Okay." So I sat down and used the Syracuse Nationals name. And it's a huge significance in Syracuse. Being that when you think of things, was the implemented shot clock. So Syracuse is responsible for that. So that's what we've irrevocably changed the flow of the game forever. With the shot clock. We also was a pivotal vote in getting the 3-point line put into the NBA and such. So we have a lot of rich basketball history here in Syracuse. So I wanted to put something like that here in the city too. And also having a women's team, a successful women's team, would also add on to that. And I think that's something where women's sports is lacking, because it seems like there's a lot of history, but nobody rushes to preserve it in any sort of way. Exactly. When I started watching the WNBA, when I first started watching it, I think back in 2000, the team that I was really interested in watching was the Houston Comets. And I think they're the biggest, in my eyes, they're the biggest tragedy in women's basketball, because they had the most championships, they have the most legends, and they have the most team records that are still not broken to this day.
Full of legends.
Yeah. But no one saved that team. Right. So that,
everybody was clutch.
Yeah. You had your Cheryl Swoops. You had everybody. Yeah. You had so many women come out of that team, and no one saved that franchise. So now the only way you can look that up is if you go on Wikipedia, or if the WNBA even mentions it at all. Which, that's why I say, to me, it's one of the biggest tragedies in basketball, because you got to preserve all of that. You got to everybody's got to play their part into preserving that.
You got to keep that going.
Yeah, and they still have the most championships won in league history. They have 4. Like, no one else has won more than them. The team that's the closest, I think, is the Minnesota Lynx.
Yeah,
with 3.
I think they run it neck and neck with the LA Sparks too. But I think the Minnesota Lynx caught up with them.
Right, and the LA Sparks was a team that was going to go under, but Magic Johnson and Lisa Leslie, they understood that history needs to be saved. Mm-hmm. So they bought the team, and they keep it afloat. And like I said, it's such a tragedy that, like, I get to see one of my favorite teams just not be there anymore.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like when the Seattle Supersonics in the NBA became the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, they came.
Yeah, it was kind of weird just not seeing the Seattle Supersonics not in the NBA. And even though, like, time has passed, it's still weird to see something like that. That's like, say what you want about the Knicks, that's the NBA with no New York Knicks. It's just a weird thing to see. So I think, like, preserving history, or creating a history and preserving it in women's sports, all women's sports, is important, because if you don't, people are going to be like, well, what have the women done? And then you got to start doing some deep dive internet digging to be like, oh, they did do something like that. That's amazing. So I think that that's really important, and that's why I also wanted to do that. And creating a WABA to add on to Syracuse history. So that's one of the.
Hey Antoine, you get somewhere where you kind of can get a clear signal?
Yep. Is that better?
Okay,
Better,
I believe so. So with all you just elaborated on, do you all have a full roster? Do you have a full team?
No, we don't have a full roster. There was we've had a lot of snaps, like funding. Because of COVID, a lot of things. So from that, see how the situation goes. Want the whole tryouts, but New York was like people can't travel. So it's been a lot of hurdles that I've tried, but we're just trying to monitor the situation. So yeah, there's been so many. Yep, sorry. All right. Let's see. Port. Okay. Should be. Am I good? I'm changing ports and trying to lower the bandwidth of other devices so I can.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm trying to lower the bandwidth of other devices that I have running in the background so I can so I won't sound like a robot or freeze up in the middle of the the interview. So
okay, now you back clear. So,
okay.
So just elaborate on that last part where you were mentioning that why you all don't have a roster at this point.
We don't have a roster at this point because we're monitoring the situation of COVID, and New York is not letting a lot of things happen. So we're trying to. It seems like the situation just changes every day here in New York. They'll be like, "Oh, you can do this," and then the next day they're like, "No, you can't do that." You can have a restaurant, you can open up stuff, but Cuomo was basically saying like things might go into late 2021. The last thing he's been saying. So like everybody at the War Memorial has been canceling events. Here at the On Center has been canceling events into mid 2021. So there's a lot of things that we're trying to evaluate the situation. So we're not trying to like promise roster spots or anything like that to people because we don't want to waste anyone's time because we want to do something and Cuomo says another thing and then now we don't get to do anything with that. So right now we're just trying to figure out how all the situations are going right now. So
in a sense, the cancellation of the season is kind of helping you all out right now because you kind of gotta go back to the drawing board, considering that you got to follow all of these guidelines. And like you said, some people aren't able to travel because of COVID. So when the cancellation of the season was agreed upon, did it kind of give you a sense of relief since?
Well, it did, but we in the last meeting that we had, I pretty much said even if the season was going to happen this season, New York has been changing everything on a dime, so we didn't see it was feasible to join in 2020 anyway.
Okay.
So it with the season canceling, it just reconfirmed that we made the right decision to keep monitoring the situation, especially here in New York when they're trying to, where they're even telling people if you leave New York, everything's on you, and they're also trying to do a mandate. I think from what I heard, is that you can't come back into New York. So it's like if we travel to like Florida or something, and they tell us we can't come back, then what do we do at that point? So we have to think about everything that's involved with all parties and what's good for our organization, what's good for the players that could potentially come in, and such. So we have to think about all of that in general.
Oh yeah. So speaking of the pandemic, now that you're back to the drawing board, you're taking it like one day at a time on figuring things out. community wise, you know, you're a new team to professional league now. Is there any ways that you are looking to just get the word out about your team, like community wise? Are you connecting with the community at all?
Yeah, so what I've been trying to do is before when I was trying to do the men's team, I reached out to our local minor league hockey team and talked to some of the management there to see how I can help with the community or how we can team up and partner with other people. They've helped me out. They gave me some really good information. And then they gave me the invite. They were like, hey, if you're ever awarded a team, just come back to us. We haven't got a chance yet because of everything has been really busy with COVID. But we are back to like, um, we're looking. We we're also doing, we're just trying to get into a lot of stuff. We're also trying to do things with we're planning on doing things with the Syracuse Orange basketball team here. We're trying to do something, probably have an exhibition game or like something for fun, or do like a game exhibition game to about the team. I've been working on uniforms and uniform designs to try to get people pumped for it, to so the team can actually look good and presentable for it. I've been going all in for like a lot of the planning stuff, and I've been looking into
behind the scenes.
So like I said, while I'm monitoring COVID, I'm trying to sit down and I'm trying to do different things, see what different avenues that I can actually have. Because like I said, just adding on to that history, and also like having like a juggernaut team maybe in the WABA. Not saying that we want that when they see. We've been putting our best foot forward on that. We've had some of our co-owner. He's been monitoring a lot of AAU stuff. So we've been trying to get in with the community and trying to see what the best avenues.
Antoine, move the phone a little bit. You going back out?
Got to do the ports. Hold on. Okay. Port forwarding. So, all
right.
What with that? We've been just going behind the scenes. We've been trying to go behind the scenes, and we've been trying to work out a lot of stuff. We've been trying to keep a lot of stuff like we were announcements. Literally, probably keep some of this on the hush. COVID's kind of throwing a wrench in a lot of stuff, so we've been pretty silent about a lot of things, and from what everything's been going on, we've been right to do so. It's been the right decision to just be quiet about a lot of things and not overpromise, and because that kills a team really fast. So we thought about doing stuff like raffles for actual games. So we thought about like doing certain things, to spice up games and to get people watch women's sports, because a lot of people admittedly do not care for women's sports. There's some people that will go out if the product is good, and so we want to have a really good, exciting, entertaining product when we finally hit the floor. And like I said, it's everything from what the ladies wear, how the team is presented, so who's backing us, so we've been looking forward to we've been looking forward to a lot of stuff. So we've been looking at the Orange Women, we've been looking at the hockey team, the Syracuse Crunch, for guidance. We've been just trying to do a lot of things in the area, but like I said, a pandemic is a pandemic, so everybody's safety has to come first, and that's why we've been silent, and that's why haven't been trying to announce things or overpromise things. I've been working on an identity folder. I've been working on press releases, and I've been working on a whole bunch of other things. Yeah, I've even tried to come up with ways to centralize all the teams for the WABA for the website and everything. There's little things I've just been trying to keep myself busy at night. So there's pretty much what that.
Hearing the words of a true co-owner, what is your
I'm sorry, one more time.
what is your team colors? Are you gonna keep it as orange? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up. I'm trying to fix the ports.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay, what are your team colors? Because Syracuse is known for like the orange and the like dark blue and white. Can you let us know on that little secret? What's your team color?
Well, so our team colors is going to be and silver. We did that because of we did that because of the slogan that we have for our team. So we have an identity slogan. Basically, it's United We Stand. Basically with that slogan, women are going up. I should go back. Yep.
Antoine. Okay. Now you clear.
Okay. All right. Our area code is 315. So it says I'm breaking up. Good thing I took those classes back in high school. I would have never been able to figure this out. Okay.
Now it's perfect.
Okay. So like I was saying, our area code is 315. So the 3 words is United We Stand. The 1 is for one goal, which is the championship, and the 5 is for the starting 5 that's going to help us achieve that for the team. That's the identity that we have. So we're, I'm corny like that sometimes. I try to think of little things like that. But yes, so we tied our team identity and slogan to our goal. So.
Okay. All right. So speaking of this pandemic. So far, how has your mental state been? How have you been mentally since March? Between March and now?
Between March and now? So this the pandemic much in the same state that I've always been. I use it says out again. Let me see. Going in, changing port.
Now back.
Oh, okay. I usually go home, and I'm a creative person, so sometimes I go home and I'm just creating things. So being shut in for 6 months, that's normally me in an entire year. I usually go to work, come home, make uniform designs, basketball team designs, redesigns, make video games, write something, listen to music, and then I'm just in the house. And then I would leave if I need food, or if somebody's like, hey, do you want to hang out? And I'll do that. So that's something that I would just normally do. So my mental state is fine. I'm still at neutral. So.
Okay.
So yeah.
So are those some of the ways that's helping you stay positive?
Yeah. And, on top of that, yeah. Well, I also I've been doing a lot of things. So my mind is basically like, one thing I got to work together. Work on
Antoine, going back out.
Okay, let me. Am I good? Am I clear? Okay. Okay. That works locked. Oh, no. Unlocked. Hold on.
All right, say something again.
All right. Am I good now?
Okay. For now.
Am I? Okay. All right. It says women's ABA doesn't seem to
Okay, you're
change.
good now. You're clear right now.
Okay, I'm good now. Okay. All right.
So
But
you
okay.
speaking on your positive, the things that you do to stay positive.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now you're stuck.
I've got family. I draw. I have TV. The world hasn't ended yet. I can still be happy. I can still be positive. You know. So like my mental state has been the same. It's just that I'm just handcuffed on what I can and can't do. So
Okay.
other than that, it's same thing, different day.
Oh yeah. Do you see any with the recent unjust and a worldwide pandemic and new civil rights movement? It's almost now time to vote. Do you see any change happening? And in your words, how important is it for us to vote this year?
Well, it's always been important to vote, but I think you should vote on all levels. And what people don't realize is they try to preach about, oh, well, that's just the presidency. And it's like, no, the presidency is not just the only thing you vote for. You vote for everything. You don't like how your mail is handled, you vote for a new postmaster. You don't like you don't like your senator, you don't like if he's taking action, guess what? You hold your senator hostage and be like, look, you need to make some changes or you don't get voted in next time. So I think voting is important on all levels. You can't just and that's why some of these things that we have issues that don't really change because they can hold that issue hostage in the guise of like, I can change it if you vote for me. If you keep me voted in, or if you do certain, if you like let me do this, then I will do this. And it's like, no, you need to vote on all levels, not just on the presidency. Voting has always been important, but everybody tries to funnel everyone into one way of thinking, which you should be looking at your entire existence and trying to move through that. And then if something that you don't like, you have to be well informed and you have to look at everything top to bottom. Everybody has to play their part. It's not just the president, it's the governors, the senators, the mayors, the city officials. You have to look at all that. Your postmaster. Yes, and your mail is important, and how you get your mail is important, and you need to vote on that issue. You can't just sit there and go like, well, I voted for Donald, for Donald Trump, or voted for against them. I did all I can do. It's like, no, you have to vote down. You have to start voting down now. You have to look at everything and vote down. Also, if you also have to get other people who may be aspiring politicians. You have to get them involved in the community. You have to show your support for them. If somebody goes, we want to do family court, don't wait for somebody to let that come out of their mouth. You gotta find somebody who wants family court reform and use that as a platform to try to get them and get other issues involved with them. You have to do that. And I tell everybody, I'm pretty centered myself when it comes to political ideologies, but everybody has to play their part. And if you don't, you're just transferring the one problem to the next. So that's what I believe in. You can't take one problem, move it to the thing and be like, oh, at least this problem's not there anymore. No, you still have the main overarching problem. You just have a new face associated to it now. So I think people really need to realistically sit down and see what both parties, all parties, can give you. Don't just look at who's there. Look who's trying to get in for that change. There may be it may be top to bottom, all the senators, mayors, governors. It might be a crapshoot. You might have to look outside and be like, hey, this person, she's been a good litigator. She's probably going to be a good judge. We need to see what her issues are. And if she has really good issues that align with what we're trying to fix, then we need to get him or her in there. So, I mean, don't just always look at the list that's given to you. You can, if you want to make a salad, you could have the ingredients right there, but you might want to spice it up with like a salami or something. Who knows? There's things outside that list. That you can go get. That's what life is. If I'm breaking up again, I'm gonna start changing ports. All right, am I better or better or worse?
Word. Okay, we hear you for right now. So
okay.
Getting back on hey, you just laid it all out about that vote. Like that's. If nobody know now, they know. You just laid it out. That was some great, right. Sounds like a future politician.
well, because I've studied a lot, and I've studied a lot of like politics, and I've talked. Another thing is like, and also I've learned. I've talked to my family. I've talked to a lot of older people. And sometimes you just get a point of view on certain things from other people. Like I know Black people who vote Republican, and and they go, "This is why I vote Republican," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And there's some people that'll be like, "Well, I vote Democrat, and this is why." So having a conversation, having a conversation with people is really important because, and I think that's an art that's being lost now because people don't want to see someone else's point of view. Because everybody's created a society where I'm morally upright, you are not. And then, maybe if you talk to that person, you go, oh, well, maybe that's where that person is coming from. This is why they think that way. And now you can change your whole mode of thinking. That doesn't make you a terrible person. That just shows that how human you are. And I think a lot of people don't have that anymore. A lot of people are just, well, I'm right about this issue, you're wrong. And it's like, no, both sides have done things to this country that's benefited them in one way, shape, or form. And there's people that vote on a spectrum. There's some people you can't have like singular thinking. You gotta think like a human. Like everything. Different variables that
We're losing you, Antoine.
Let me change ports.
Okay, it's like every time you move, you get back on.
Yeah.
Right. I agree, Marsha. You would be a great community activist. You really
well, and and the thing is, I tell a lot of people, there's a lot of champagne activists out there, and when I say that is, it's the activists for as I tell people, there's a lot of champagne activists. There's a lot of people who are activists for the pat on the back of being an activist, and I go, no, you have to sit down and you have to get up and do things to create change. That's why change is so hard. When when you're a kid, it's easy to go to the bathroom in your diaper, but then when your parents try to make you potty train you have an aversion to it because that's not something that you're trying to do. They're trying to change an actual behavior. They're trying to make you more independent. And that's
we lost again.
Oh, losing me again. You gotta. All right.
You and your cords.
Yeah, you know, you got to try to keep the internet moving.
Right. Okay, now you're back.
Okay, so I mean, like there's champagne activists that really hurt actual activism, because they're just in it for the pat on the back, and on top of that, we also play our part where we allow these people into our, you know, when we're trying to be active in the communities, we let those people in, and then they completely hijack the message, and all of a sudden the movement becomes something that it never was intended. It never goes to natural motions to create actual change. And I think we have to be very selective of who we let in and who we allow to carry the burden of our message for. And it seems like we get so we go to the point where we get so happy that we just let anybody in, and we basically get like we basically get other people coming in that like we get the Rachel Dolezals where they pretend to be black to be part of the movement. We get people who they never cared about black people. They're just anti-capitalist. We have to start vetting people out into these things. Like we got to be like, are you really, what is your issues? Are you really for this cause? You know, we have to start looking at things like that. And then after we get to the celebrity,
I'm losing you again.
because at the end of the hopefully I'm back.
Yep.
Okay. We can't keep looking to celebrities, because at the end of the day, their situation at the end of the day doesn't really affect them like it affects a regular person. That's like, you know, to get some policy.
This is a great point, but we can't hear you.
Okay. Let's see. Port.
Can you move the phone?
Yep. Okay. Am I good? Am I streaming? Am I good? Am I all right? All right.
Yeah, you're all right right now.
Yep. So, like I say, like we shouldn't. I think we also a thing that we've done is we've given our activism over to celebrities, and we ever celebrities really affected us.
Antoine, you're going out again.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. Okay. Run. Shut off. Okay. Am I good?
Say something again. No. You're choppy. You're going in and out.
We can't let these technical.
I don't think they want to work with us today.
Okay. That says choppy. We want to go to.
Do you got a lot plugged up over there?
Yeah, I run a big network of things, so I'm just flipping switches and just typing everything out. So but yeah, like I said, we shouldn't really hand our activism over to celebrities. Because we can easily manage status, and like I tell a lot of people, like when people talk about LeBron, I go, we're waiting for LeBron to have a policy. You'll be dead before that happens. Let's see. I tell people you'll be dead way before that happens. You should get up and mobilize your own people to have change. If a celebrity says something, it's just a call to action. They're not supposed to be doing the work. You're supposed to get up and you're supposed to you're supposed to vote top to bottom. You're supposed to see other outside factors that can help benefit your life. Sometimes it could be changing your lifestyle. So I mean, activism, there's so much to activism because it's so multi-layered. It's not just the one layer that they present to you in the media or anything. Like, everyone has to get up and do it. And that's what that if these 70s we're doing everything on every getting across. And that's why activism worked back then. It's people are just talking. So let me see.
Antoine,
Yep. So all right. So if I'm okay. So I mean, that's why. Okay. That's why activism worked in the 60s and 70s, because everybody understood that it was a multifaceted beast that everyone had to attack at multiple sides. You had your protests, you had your voting, you had your call to actions. You basically had plans where people changes, and that's the thing about change. It's really hard. Change is hard on all levels, but everybody has to play their part. That's why when celebrities say something, it's just a call to action. They're not going to do anything. It's just an amplified voice. Then everybody goes out and do what they need to do to make that necessary change happen.
Exactly.
So yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much like when I tell people, if that's why when people when they sit down and say, if you say nothing, it's the same no. I would rather them not say anything if they do not know what they're getting themselves into, because that hurts activism more than it helps. It hurts activism more than it actually helps. So if somebody's silent on an issue, you don't have to put a gun to their head. Like I tell everybody, 51% is more than 49%. So all you need is to be technically the majority, and you don't have to have an overwhelming, it doesn't have to be 99% or you get everybody on board. No, just do what all the other higher ups do in any non-marginalization. You gotta technically be better. Like I said, 51 is better than 49. You don't need 99. You don't need all of them. Yep, I'm breaking up again.
Okay, now you're back. It's like once you move, then you're okay.
Like I tell everyone, like I said again,
can you hear me? You back one?
Yep. Like I tell a lot of people, 51% is more than 49. You don't have to go into this all or nothing mentality. Just get the 51%, get your change, keep it moving. That's pretty much it.
Exactly.
Yep. You don't have to try to have this world peace achieved newsletter. No, you don't need to. You want to be like, hey, look, we got change, and it was 1% more than the other guy. That's it. 51% is more than 49, and I think that's what a lot of people should be thinking if they want actual change. Technically,
all right. Well.
No. All right, and hopefully I'm back.
Good. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was that. You really elaborated. You're very informative, and for those who tuned in, for those who will, I'm pretty sure they're going to enjoy that part. So, hey, getting back to the subject of basketball, though, is there anything that you have going on outside of basketball? Like, do you have another brand? Is it a special project you're working on that you would like to soon announce? Or you just strictly right now behind the scenes with everything going on with Syracuse National?
Well, like I said, I also make video games, but right now for basketball, I'm just behind the scenes on everything, just so I can so I can monitor the situation and see what else is going on. Excuse me. But yeah, no, I've been just making I've just been going on making my video games, and I've been preparing for the WABA season that's coming up. Hopefully, I'm doing
Yes,
also
yes, I
yeah.
think we all are.
Yeah,
That season is that
also maybe
season
one
is
of these days, because
brewing. I'm
make a
I'm
prototype
telling you
game
now.
thing, make a maybe in the future down the road. Let me see. If I'm back. All right. But yeah, I was making a game prototype, and I wanted to make a WABA like mini video game, maybe get a licensing or something
Okay.
going for that. You know, because sometimes you
Hey,
get the
you
media
wrong with that?
also. Yeah. So the media, like I said, media
Yeah,
also helps preserve
okay.
history. Yeah.
Exactly. Coming soon. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it on this Sunday special where she knows her sports. In connection with the WABA, you heard it here. Speaking of the 2021 season, I know you know, as a team, you have to study your opponents. I don't know if you have tuned in to previous interviews, but there has been a few call outs. So within the league, is there certain teams that you're looking forward to playing against?
So I see what this is. Okay, I see. Um, I'm not gonna fall into that game. Only because I have a strategy.
Oh, there's
I
nothing
have a.
wrong with saying I'm looking forward to playing against
Oh,
you know a
no,
certain
no, no, no.
nothing wrong with saying
I want them.
that.
I want them all to look at this and be like, "What about this guy about?" I want to create history. I want to create that. What's going to happen? I want to create that. What's the team going to look like? What are they about? You know, or what are the players going to be? You know, I want them to watch this interview and be like, oh, but okay. I'm looking forward to just being part of the season. Whatever rivalries happen, whatever people may say they want to play us or not, that will unfold when it happens. That's the natural order of things. So
Okay.
I heard the DC Cyclones went undefeated and won the title, so that's good on them, and I have to give them a shout out because that right there preserve that history, because that one of these days that's going to be one of those things we're going to look back at when it's going to be big, and people are going to be like, oh man, remember the DC Cyclones? They sat down undefeated, and it's going to be one of those legendary teams, and there. Yeah, that's
Okay. You're chopping up again.
chopping up.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Am
All
I
right.
good now?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. You're
Yeah.
good
So, like
now.
I said, the DC Cyclones. That's history that needs to be preserved. 100%. So, uh, I'm glad that they actually went undefeated and won the title, because that's good for the WABA, that's good for the DC Cyclones, that's good for the DC area, and that's good for DC women's basketball. And they also won when that's like I guess the Washington Mystics also won too, which was also a really good double whammy for women's
Yeah, that's what
basketball
I
in
said. It was a
DC.
double whammy last year for DC
Yeah,
because
it
the Mystics
was.
won and then the Cyclones turned around and won too. So yeah, DC
Yeah, and
DC
they
was it was their year last year.
yeah, it was. It was definitely their year. And that right there, that made me really happy to see them go undefeated and win the title, because that makes everyone in the long run better. They just got to preserve that history. And, you know, maybe we might do something historic one of these days too. So, you know, maybe we might
Okay, that's
become the
the
Jacksonville
goal. That is
Giants.
the goal. That should
Yep.
be the goal.
Yep, it
So,
is.
speaking of making history, you know, women's basketball is growing, and considering now that the world has another women's professional league, within the WABA. They have a
Mhm.
slogan that the WABA has a slogan that they're going by. It's our time. When you hear that in your words, what do you think it's our time mean? What does that mean to you?
It's our time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's our time. I mean, it's that time to make history. It's your time. You got to make. You got to preserve it. And this is a moment that you can't squander. If it's your time, you're basically saying you're out there to make history. So you got to go out and make history, and that's by playing games every day. That's by being active every day. After a while, it stops being your time, and you're it. You got to maintain it. You got to maintain that status quo. So with that, with Syracuse, because Syracuse already had a rich history in basketball, this is Syracuse's
Okay,
time.
you're chopping again.
It's our time.
Okay,
Horns. Yep. All right. But
got you back.
yep. But it's everybody's time to step in. Like it's Syracuse's time, and we can make history. We can be the worst team. We can be one of the WNBA history. Who knows, right? Sending messages out there to people.
Right, who knows? So 2021, stay tuned because I'm gonna tell you now, this league is brewing up. Okay, it's new teams being added. You know, these players they're continuing to condition and practice and you know you owners or you all are bending over backwards and working tirelessly to make sure you're keeping your organization together. So, oh yeah, when 2021 hit, it's gonna be real. It's gonna be something serious.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to it. So,
Yeah.
you know, also within the WABA, it's the League of Opportunity. Um, with not only for you know players and owners, but for businesses. So, is there any way that the Syracuse Nationals have any sponsor or partnerships available for you know people who would be interested?
Well, and that's the whole point of me working behind the scenes and doing things like identity packages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because the identity, the look, the logo, the slogan, all of it makes a difference. You got to have people believe in your product as much as you do. If you don't believe in it, if you don't put your heart and soul into it, if it looks shoddy, they're not going to believe in you a single dime, or they're not going to help you with that.
Yes.
I think one of my
So branding it makes an impression. So you got to make sure.
Yep. There were we had a logo, but then with the logo that we have now is the one that we're going with. But we had somebody else that did a surprise logo for us, and then I went and made uniforms based on that logo. So we might change our identity. We're gonna try to do that as coming up. So let's see. There we go. Port morning. Okay. So we like we're also going to reach out to the Syracuse Nationals car show. We're gonna take different cues. We're gonna take different cues from the NBA and WABA, NBA, because it seems like a really good template to go. So we're like, hey, if you sponsor us, if you pay us this much, you'll have a sponsor patch on the uniform. We took inspiration from the what Nike did with the City Edition uniforms for the NBA. So we're having a special alternate sponsor looks that are customized to the sponsoring and all that other stuff. So basically, we wanted to talk to the Syracuse Nationals car show because we had created like a Ferrari themed uniform. We also wanted to talk to the Syracuse Crunch. So we're exploring all of our other avenues for sponsorships. The sponsors that we did reach out to, most of their businesses have closed or shuttered due to COVID. So that kind of sent us on the other spectrum of things. So yeah.
Okay.
So I take the identity, I take the slogan, I take all of it seriously. Like I said, I want when the fans come in, I want them to know that this is Syracuse's team. So.
All right. Do you have a website that people can go and visit?
Well, right now I'm in that. I've gone through way too many designs, and then I dislike them, and that's my curse for being a graphic designer as well. Sometimes what you do isn't good enough in your eyes, so you have to try to get the right mind. So right now we have the Syracuse WABA national page. So if anybody wants to go there, you can go there and check out when we make updates on the actual Facebook page. When we launch our website, when we launch our website and analytics back end technology that we're trying to utilize, then we'll release that.
Sorry, what was the Facebook page?
It was the Syracuse Nationals WABA.
Okay.
Or I can. Yep.
Okay.
So.
Got it.
So yeah. Yep. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean. I thought I was talking over you and everything. I'm checking the ports and everything, making sure I'm still good.
And also here on Instagram, for those who have tuned in or will tune in, you can follow you all here, the Syracuse Nationals at CUSE, CUSE_Nationals. So, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna be putting some updates on here soon, right?
Right. So yeah, once things get going, I'll be able to put them up. I just want everything to be right. So I want all the teams to be like, oh no, the Syracuse Nationals, they're a thing.
It represents you.
Yep.
So, representation is that's what it's all about. So, last but not least, most definitely, before we go, what is can you close us out with an encouraging word?
I have many of them. I'll leave everyone with this. You owe it to yourself to be interesting, because the only person who can live with all of your triumphs and failures is yourself.
Wow. You know what? Period, point blank. There it go. It's that simple. That simple. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Baker, for your time. And we look forward to seeing what the Syracuse Nationals has in store for the league in 2021. And just don't ever hesitate to reach out, and if you need anything. And again, congratulations for being a brand new team. And hey, look forward to make herstory instead of history.
Yep. Is that a Southern thing, or because I know a lot of people that Southerns that be like, herstory and all that other stuff. So
it's just highlighting women. History.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we put the her in there now. So HER, herstory.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
All right.
Well, I did enjoy the interview.
You have a great rest of your Sunday, and don't think this is going to be your only interview. We're going to be talking to you again, okay?
Oh, definitely. I enjoyed my time. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it with Mr. Antoine Baker and myself, Helen Bohanna, with She Knows Her Sports. And for those of you who are just tuning in or may be unfamiliar with the league, the Women's ABA is a professional women's basketball league that extends the platform for women basketball players to continue to have the opportunity to live out their dreams of becoming a professional within the WNBA or playing overseas. And for more information, please visit womensaba.com and also follow them here on Instagram at Women's ABA. And for more live IG conversations with the owners, players, and coaches within the WABA, please follow me here on She Knows Her Sports. Thank you and have a wonderful Sunday. And we'll see you next week.